welcome again to the big match. Today, 3 games from the First Division with action from the top and the bottom of the table. And our main match is between two sides battling near the bottom as Spurs take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. And our studio guest from that game, the Spurs' popular Irish goalkeeper, Pat Jennings. We've also got some thrilling action from the bottom club, Sheffield United, as they meet Manchester City. And then we switch to the team that started the day at the top, Queen's Park Rangers, and their visit to Coventry City. But first of all, of course, we move off to White Hart Lane for Tottenham Hotspur's game against Wolves. Wolves, a side that's only one off the bottom of the First Division table. And indeed, Wolves have an appalling away record. They've won only once away from Molineux in the last 13 months. So the task, obviously, is going to be a difficult one for them today against this Spurs side, who are now beginning to move a little better and indeed have gone 7 games without defeat. So, as we come to White Hart Lane, it's Spurs against Wolves with a rainbow over the ground. And the team sheets for today show that for Spurs, Alfie Conn and Steve Perriman have both recovered from knocks, and Spurs can field an unchanged side with young Neil McNabb as the substitute. Wolves make changes in the forward areas. Alan Sunderland gets another game at number 10. John Farley is brought into the number 11 position. They face a Spurs side, as I say, that's had a recent good run, and someone who's never been on the losing side for them since he arrived from Aberdeen, their massive number 5, Willie Young. And in the Wolves team, good to see that former Arsenal stalwart, Bob McNabb, back in town. The referee today is Ron Crabb from Exeter, and the crowd for London's only First Division game is 26,100.
So Spurs kick off, attacking the goal to our left, white shirts, black shorts, white stockings. Wolves in the familiar old gold shirts, but this afternoon in white shorts because they can't clash, of course, with the black shorts of Spurs. Both sides, in fact, very much in the doldrums at the moment, particularly Wolves, next to bottom in the First Division. They've only won 1 of their last 7 league games. Spurs showing a smattering of form in their last 7 league games as Coates goes down and Gary Pearce struggling just a little bit as that ball gathered a bit of pace on the wet turf. Spurs, I say, 7 without defeat, and in fact a very good win last week at Leicester 3-2. Nobody more worried by that Wolves performance of the last few weeks than Bill McGarry in the sheepskin coat there, their manager. Here's Conn. Jones, Monroe, lost out there again. Chivers, Conn. McAllister up on the left, a spare man, here he is. Driven well, might come in from Neighbour, oh yes! Spurs ahead, 4.5 minutes gone, and a fine goal. With McAllister taking up a very intelligent position on the left touchline, doing the right thing as he was challenged by driving the ball in low. And it came through to Jimmy Neighbour, who hit a tremendous shot for his first goal of the season. Spurs 1, Wolves 0. Jimmy Neighbour, the man who's given Spurs the goal they badly wanted early on. Parkin. And a sort of goal, of course, that will once again knock the confidence of a Wolverhampton Wanderers side whose confidence has been knocked a fair bit. They've lost 11 of the last 12 away games they've played. A side at the moment that is very fragile indeed when it travels. Neighbour are getting in again. Chivers touched on towards Perriman, that bounced well for Jones. Conn couldn't quite get in there. And that'll be a throw. Chivers already coming across, that can mean only one thing. A long throw, McGarry looking a bit pensive there, the Wolves manager. And Chivers with that long, effortless throw again. Chris Jones getting his header in, and a good punch away though by Gary Pearce. Farley after it, but Pratt in command. Young. Chivers onside, but only just. Conn. Chivers, nicely played there by Tottenham. Conn going across there and almost number 2. But that really was some brilliant play again by Tottenham, involving Chivers and involving Conn, and almost making a chance. And just look now as Chivers goes thundering back the length of the field. to try and dispossess Alan Sunderland. Gives away a free kick as he does so. But that fighting back by Chivers, I think, meant an awful lot to Tottenham. It shows the sort of spirit that they've begun to rouse again in themselves. A free kick though for Wolves. A moment of danger for Tottenham. Mike Bailey, the Wolves skipper, with it. Floated towards the near post, and Richards got up very well there. Way above McAllister. So Jennings, crowd bubbling a bit at the opening 7 minutes or so by Tottenham. Nab. Bailey putting it on rather hopefully. And Keith Osgood. Back to Jennings. John Richards shown a fair bit of pace already in this game. And that'll fall for Chivers. Paul blocking the shot. Parkin doing the safe thing. Turned it again. The number of times that Wolves are giving the ball away at the moment is quite remarkable. Coates now finding McAllister, who had such a hand in that first Tottenham goal. Bailey beating Con. Willie Young there. McAllister again, sending it off to Chivers. A nice header there by Chivers for Neighbour. Taking on Parkin. Doing very well. Back for Coates. Oh, and a tremendous save there by Gary Pearce. Good jinking run by Jimmy Neighbour. Perfectly weighted pass there for Ralph Coates. Slight deflection, which made that save by Pearce even better. So a corner for Tottenham. Jimmy Neighbour's going to take it. Willie Young is up again. Perryman making the run towards the near post, but more as a decoy. And again, Young got there with a header. Bailey and Willie Carr. Farley. Bailey. Hibbett. Tremendous ball there by Mick Bailey. And Coates getting back in time for Tottenham. Superb ball by Bailey. Almost sent Hibbett on his way. Very good defence indeed by Ralph Coates. Hibbett with the Wolverhampton Wanderers corner. Frank Munro on the Spurs goal line. Well, that'll fall nicely for Young. Mike Bailey. Chivers presumably will get up to that one. No, he didn't in the end, but an offside against Farley. Wolves certainly looking to a man like Bailey now to get them on the move, to sort out their problems, particularly in midfield. Chivers. McAllister. Paul winning it in the air. Here's Perryman. Played for Coates. Pratt for Coates again. Good advantage played. Oh, well, that was bad luck for the referee. He did his utmost to play the advantage there. He waited and waited, did exactly the right thing, and then felt that Coates wasn't going to get up off his feet in time. But in the end, Ralph Coates did, with the whistle had gone. So bad luck for the referee there, but it's a free kick for Tottenham. John Pratt with the free kick. Floated in again towards Willie Young, who pushed as he went in, giving Wolves the free kick. Young again. McNabb. Bailey. Parkin. Parkin again to Willie Carr. On for Farley again. This is a good Wolves move. Sunderland a little too high for him. And in the end, the header was no problem at all for Pat Jennings. McAllister. Jones. Now Neighbour. Coates is up there too. Ball back again. Parkin playing injury time now, although I can't think there's been any injuries that I can recall in the first 45 minutes. And the whistle goes for half-time. Strange first half, a brilliant first 10 minutes in which Spurs showed all the style in the world and scored the only goal so far through Jimmy Neighbour, and a very good one it was too, after some good work by Don McAllister. And then the game just fell away. It was aimless. The pole was constantly being given away, and there were really no passing movements worthy of the name. Nonetheless, there's plenty more to come on the big match this afternoon, and the half-time score at White Hart Lane that reads Spurs 1, Wolves 0. We'll be right back with the second half.
The big bore, oh what a giveaway, for TX 21175, take one.
Welcome back to White Hart Lane. Wolves now attacking the goal to our left, and Spurs with their substitute on, Neil McNabb, on for Alfie Conn. And that rain really has spiced up the surface a little bit, quickened up the game. Touch there by Richards. Sunderland hoping to make something of it. Here's Hibbett right across the line now for John Farley. Oh, Farley doing well. He might get a shot in here. He has! Jennings just got the touch to it. That was a very fine piece of goalkeeping as well. Good little thinking piece of play there by John Farley, former Watford man. Hit across the face of that goal, and another former Watford man, Pat Jennings, pushing it wide. Corner already taken. Here's McNabb with a chance to lift it in. And Hibbett's header over, and a goal kick. Jones. McNabb. Oh, that was a cheeky bit of skill, if you like. Neighbour maybe can take it up. Running into trouble, though. And Carr and Hibbett should get it away. Young. Play for McNabb again. Good. Jones up very well. Here's Perryman. There's McNabb with a shot. Just one. Well, that was a good forceful break again by Tottenham, and not for the first time this afternoon. The heading ability of Chris Jones under pressure opened up the way. Perryman and McNabb both pouncing on it, and McNabb shot in the end going wide. Sunderland. Carr, McNabb. John Richards, Hibbett, oh, he was lucky to find the touch there for Farley. Oh, my word! Another beautiful Wolves move, and there haven't been many of them. And it came through eventually with a little touch of luck there as Hibbett played it on for Farley. Caught that superbly, and it looked for a moment as though it might hit the post and go in. That really was no more than an inch wide. Spurs taking it up again. Here's Chivers. McNabb doing his best to get in the way. That was the only way that he could stop him and go off the field at the same time. Daly will come on. Former England youth international. But the problem there for Wolves is that a defender goes off and an attacker comes on. Coates with the free kick. Coates again. Pratt. It's not a bad old shot. And in the end, it was a very good save. Making quite a habit of that, John Pratt. Hitting long, dangerous shots from 30 yards. And that one he caught so well. And pierced it well. Anxiety on that Wolves bench now. They want people to stay forward in spite of pressure being put on them. And here's Willie Young. There's a goal! His first for Tottenham. And one that really could make all the difference now. The ball came over from the right. Young caught it well into the back of the net. Tottenham 2, Wolves 0. And Willie Young opens his account with his new club. And seems pretty pleased about it. Bailey. Farley. That should allow Spurs to relax a little bit and put on the style as they did in the first 10 minutes of this game. Although in all honesty they've looked a lot better again in this second half, as indeed have Wolves. Much better second half. Monroe getting that long ball away. Osgood. Young to the rescue. Pratt losing it, but it comes to Coates. Neighbour. Chivers, touched off again for McAllister. So Pearce with the goal kick. Nab. Nab to Pratt. That'll come for Perryman. Touch on now for Neil McNabb. Onto the left foot. Tried a little toe poke in the end, or he may have stubbed his toe as he tried a shot. It's Parkin. And now it's Farley. Bailey. Bailey getting in again. Try to get in again, but it's Jimmy Neighbour now. 3 against 3 now, and a chance for Tottenham as Neighbour goes past his man, and the shot goes past Pearce and also past the post. Very interesting looking break that for Tottenham, 3 against 3. Labour taking on his man and beating him, and then shooting perhaps a little ambitiously, and the ball going wide. Sunderland. Well, a little too casual there. Jones robbed him. There's Chivers. Chris Jones. Neighbour. William. John Pratt towards Martin Chivers again. It looked to me as though he's being pulled back. Indeed, it's a free kick. Jimmy Neighbour with it. Curling again towards Willie Young. Oh, McNabb! Yes! Number 3. Neil McNabb. Gary Pearce infuriated, and in fact the referee coming across to the linesman. But the linesman had already run back towards the centre. Now, is it 2-0 or is it 3-0? It's going to be 2-0. So Neil McNabb disappointed. The goal is ruled out. And that's a thing we'll have to look at. So here's Mike Bailey. Neva. Chivers. A call. Parkin. Daly. Now Bailey. Hit well and saved well. Daly coming in. Farley coming in and saved brilliantly. Never lets them down, Pat Jennings. Maybe a little fortunate with the first one, but a superb save from the second one. So a corner then for Wolves. Willie Carr again with it. Come for Carr again. Now for Parkin. Deflection and a corner. Hibbett with this corner for Wolves. Hit towards Bailey. On the volley! Oh, and what a save again! Absolutely amazing. Last season, Pat Jennings kept Spurs in the First Division. And today, he has kept Wolves out in brilliant style. Mike Bailey can't believe it. He caught that volley absolutely perfectly. And the crowd are still, 30 seconds after that save, still roundly applauding Pat Jennings. Look at Hibbett, he can't believe it either. Willie Young getting there. Still just under 5 minutes to go. Monroe. Bailey. Level 4 for Willie Carr. Now for Bailey again, who's never stopped. Not stopping now either. John Richards with the shot and a deflection, and Pat Jennings is in trouble. No, he's not. Mike Bailey picking him up. A good sporting gesture there from the Wolves skipper. And that deflection looked as though it might have had Pat Jennings in trouble. All I can say is we should have known better. He pushed it away again. But Willie Carr now with the corner for Wolves. A much better second half for Wolves. Young getting it away. Parkin. Oh, cut out nicely there by Pratt. Here's Parkin. Wolves have got nearly everybody up now. Curious formation this. Even Monroe is up there and stayed up there. There's Hibbett with a shot, and there's Jennings again. Young. Hibbett. And Richards given offside. There wasn't much in it, because Pratt was a bit late coming forward. Our crowd are booing their own man, Don McAllister, for that pass back to Pat Jones. Jones with the header. Neil McNair. They haven't played badly today, Spurs, and they've shown some real signs as well. Chivers. Here's Jones. Can he turn on his man? He can. Well, he's not played at all badly, Chris Jones. He's taken a fair buffeting there as the target man so often. He deserved a goal there. He turned well and got away from the defender and then smashed wildly. Bailey. Bailey again. Here's Daly, or rather Parkin, and now for Willie Carr. Last seconds of the game now. Crossed in again there, Daly shot, and this time it's there. And so Wolves at least have got the goal that so much of their second half play has suggested that they deserve. Cross coming in, well hit from the left. Daly, the substitute, getting up well, and at last Pat Jennings is beaten. Spurs 2, Wolves 1. The scorer, Steve Daly. And we have no more than a few seconds left. Now, if Wolves can plant it downfield, they might still do something. Here's Sunderland with it. Bailey, right up there, stopped by Willie Young. Now it's with Coates. Now McAllister. Apart from the substitution, there really is no time at all to be added on. No injuries. Back with Pat Jennings again. And there goes the final whistle. A victory for Spurs, more trouble for Wolves. Willie Young having scored his first goal for Tottenham Hotspur in the second half, to add to one by Jimmy Neighbour, and then Steve Daly getting one right at the end for Wolves, who had a much better second half. But the hero for Spurs, no question of that, Pat Jennings. 3 or 4 absolutely tremendous saves, the best of all probably from that volley by Mick Bailey. So victory for Tottenham. The final scoreline here at White Hart Lane. Spurs 2, Wolves 1.
Yes, the man of the match, and never a doubt about it, of course, Spurs goalkeeper Pat Jennings, and we're delighted to have Pat with us today. In fact, I think it's the first time you've been on the big match in some 7 or 8 years, Pat.
That's right, Brian.
We've taken a long time getting round to you.
I think it's a bit longer than actually 12 years.
Well, there you are. It's good to have you today. And I noticed, in fact, quoting from the News of the World this morning, Mike Bailey says, "Don't ask me how he did it. All I know, and everybody in our dressing room agrees, that this fellow is the best in the world." That's nice to wake up to on a Sunday morning, I would think.
Yeah, it makes a change, Brian. But it's a very big place, the world. I wouldn't like to go as far as that.
But were you particularly happy with your performance yesterday, as everybody else seemed to be delighted with it, Wolves accepted?
Well, if we went through the same next week, finish with the same result, I'd be more than happy.
But your reactions seem as sharp now. What, you're 30 now, Pat, aren't you? They seem as sharp now as ever they were. What do you attribute that to?
Probably my position now helps me a little bit more than probably in the early years. I think being a goalkeeper, it depends a lot on this positioning.
Do you train as hard as you've ever trained?
I'm probably training a lot, well, say a little bit harder now than what I did in the earlier years with Bill Nicholson.
Concentrating on what sort of things now?
Well, every day now I have a goalkeeping session, maybe for 15-20 minutes.
Let's have a look at some of those saves yesterday, and you tell us what it was that appealed most of all to you about them. The first one, I think, is one from John Richards, where, if anything, I'll say it because I know you won't, that he exposes Willie Young a little bit there for pace. But what about his shot, Pat?
I think Keith Osgood there, if he hadn't fell over, could probably got a tackle in.
I'm interested in you, not Keith Osgood at the moment. Now, put your modesty aside for just one moment. I think, in fact, with this one here, probably you would felt you could have done a little better with that shot from Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I think you can see that it pitched a little bit in front of me there. Maybe only felt I might have held it. But I was lucky enough to get away with it here, knock the second one out.
That was luck, was it?
Yeah, a little bit.
But I think the one that everybody's raving about, and rightly so, certainly from a spectacular point of view, was this volley from Mike Bailey. Tell us about this from the word go.
Les Terry had been getting in the cross from the corner. Mike Bailey coming onto it now, and I didn't see it till it was on its way. And I think it was 2 or 3 yards off the line, so probably that made it look as good as what it does.
I spoke to a lot of journalists after the game yesterday who watch football over the world, and all agreed that was one of the best saves they've ever seen.
Well, I was pleased with it, but I think the fact that it was over my head, I would have been disappointed had it gone in the net. And
he hit it perfectly, Mick Bailey, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that was probably what made it look that much, or as good as what it did. Yeah,
it's the ones that are mishit that are often the most difficult ones. But what I want to do now is to show you, the viewers, in fact, a Pat Jennings eye view of that tremendous volley and the save. You'll just see Mike Bailey, and you'll just see the ball come onto his left foot in a moment. And as Pat said, he only saw it when it was on its way. As you can see, there are players in the way there. Superb. You've got Willie Young playing in front of you now. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think the fact that we haven't lost since Willie's come, that says enough for itself. He's done a very good job for his blocking up the middle.
You're still a bit near the bottom, though, aren't you?
Well, I think we're improving all the time. Mind, it's a bit worrying when you see a team playing as well as done yesterday to be below us.
Particularly in the second half, they look
That's
very
right.
good. I get a lot of letters from your fans in Ireland saying it's about time you had Pat Jennings on the television and show us some of his saves. In fact, Northern Ireland got a very difficult job in the European Championship, haven't they?
I thought we played well against Norway the other night. We could have easily scored 5 or 6 goals. And had we done it, would have left it a little bit easier for us in Yugoslavia. But I think we're still in with a chance.
Good. Well, for all our friends in Northern Ireland and for Spurs fans as well, I'm glad we've got you on the big match at last, Pat. And many, many congratulations on that performance yesterday.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
But of course, one thing that we've got to sort out before we go on to our next match is why the goal by Neil McNabb that would have made it 3 for Spurs was disallowed by the referee Ron Crabb. And I think as you look at it now, have a look at Willie Young coming forward, the big figure there in the centre. Does he push John Richards here as they go for that corner? There's his hands are up. And you'll see as Neil McNagg turns the ball very well into the back of that Wolves net, the first reaction of Gary Pearce, the Wolves goalkeeper, is to say, look, he pushed. And in the end, the referee agreed. Well, our second match features the club right at the bottom of the First Division, that's Sheffield United. They'd taken only 3 points from their first 14 games when they met up yesterday with Manchester City at Bramall Lane, Sheffield. Manchester City indeed had had a day of trouble leading up to that game. Their coach was involved in a crash on the way to the game, and goalkeeper Joe Corrigan was taken ill and replaced at the very last moment by reserve Keith McRae. Well, the pictures come from Yorkshire Television. The commentator's Keith Macklin. Sheffield United in the stripes.
Heavy collision of bodies, but no foul. It was Watson who won it over Guthrie. This is Oakes running it. Good piece of work by Barnes. That don't know. Oh yes, it's Booth. Tommy Booth, who scored here last season, makeshift centre forward this afternoon, rattles in that goal. And Sheffield United up against it already in the opening minutes. So Tommy Booth, who might have been a Nottingham Forest player now, pressed into the number 9 jersey this afternoon. Bangs in the shot. Here's Woodward now. And again the pass adrift. And a quick 1-2-3 by City sends them away through Jewett. This is Hartford waiting for Clements to break on his outside, taking it down the middle. Hartford shot! And that could be 2. Whoa, wonderful save by McAllister. McAllister looked hopelessly out of position when Jewett homed in on that. But McAllister, after making the first save, then saved brilliantly from Jewett. And getting a pat on the head from Colin Franks. It looked hopeless for McAllister there when Jewett moved in for the kill. There's the corner kick. Jewett. And Curry getting it away. Booth. Bell. Hooked away again by Curry. Still City keep it up. Woodward going for it. Badger. Oakes. And Booth is onside, but Cahoon intervenes. Still City keep it going. Now Eddie for Sheffield United. Dearden. Woodward. A long one right across the park for Garbutt. Really widened the pitch, did that Woodward pass, and gave Garbutt room for the cross, a deflection. And it's coming out to Dearden. Oh, good effort by Dearden, a superb save by McRae. Magnificent goalkeeping at each end. Billy Dearden really caught that beautifully, and it was the fingertips of Keith McRae, Corrigan's deputy, that denied him. Garbutt. Up goes Watson and wins it. Now Bell. Oakes. Donaghy's gone outside Barnes. Barnes cross towards Booth. Hemsley glancing it, but only into the path of Bell. Bell's low cross. The knees coming out to Clements, and a deflection for Barnes. He scored! A goal out of nothing. The shot was deflected by a defender. I think it was Ted Hemsley. Barnes just didn't give it up. It looked as if it was going to travel out of play. But young Peter Barnes wouldn't give it up. He went after it and from the narrowest of angles put it past McAllister. Eddie's header. That goal came in the 28th minute. Here's Woodward putting it up for Guthrie's header. And as Lark puts in the net, it was certainly over. And immediately within a minute, Guthrie has pulled one back. The goal famine at Bramall Lane is at last broken within a minute of Peter Barnes' goal. Guthrie, Chris Guthrie, gets his 6th goal of the season. Dearden, 1 minute, a corner. The last minute of the first half, Billy Dearden, one or two of whose passes have been going astray this afternoon. Alan Woodward quick to take this corner. Near post ball. Back out to Woodward from Dearden. In goes Guthrie. What a save by McRae from the 6-yard box. Guthrie went roaring in. He must have thought he'd equalised. Great save by McRae. Donachie only as far as Badger. Woodward, that was a foul after the ball had gone. I think Chewett and Badger, no, it's not Chewett. Yes, it is. It's Chewett caught Badger after the ball had gone and went down himself. Both knees being attended to. Both men off the field temporarily. Badger struggling back onto it. Now is Mr. Kirkpatrick to get it moving. Referees differ. Roy Capey would have had them moving before now. Curry to take a free kick, so Chewett adjudged the offender. Curry's punched by McRae. Oh, penalty! A penalty! Now, what has Mr. Kirkpatrick awarded here? It looks... He's going out to linesman to consult. At first we thought it was a penalty. Yes, it is. Now, whatever that is for, presumably pushing in the box, the only thing we can presume is that either McRae, as he came out, or one of the Manchester City defenders was pushing as that free kick from Curry came over. Keith Eddy, who's scored from 2 penalties already this season, comes up for what could be Sheffield United's equalising goal. Yes, 2-2. And 7.5 minutes into the second half, the scoreline is 2-2.
And that's how it finished, 2-2. And of course it still leaves Sheffield United firmly at the bottom. But why was that penalty given to Sheffield United by referee Roger Kirkpatrick? As Curry puts the ball in, look at the 2 figures coming into the left of the screen now. Guthrie obstructed there by Watson, and obviously it must have been a bit more than obstruction, but that was the incident that caused the penalty to be given. But as time again for your letters, and first a plea from one of our younger viewers, from 15-year-old Anthony Dinmore of 41A Avenue Road, Southgate, London, N14, who says that I'm always going on about young players wearing shin guards, but he finds that his are always slipping around his legs almost as soon as the match starts, and he wonders if there are any hints on how professionals can keep them in place. Well, let's see how Stan Bowles of Queen's Park Rangers goes about it. Well, here's Stan in action against Manchester United in a game earlier this season. He gets injured in a moment as he goes into that tackle there. And when he's recovered from the pain of it all, we shall see just how Stan Bowles sorts out his shin guards. As you'll see, he has a plaster around them, around the back of his leg. I suppose as you get older, it wouldn't be a bad idea to shave the back of your leg, because otherwise it might be a bit painful getting them off. Well, glad to say we're once more getting a pretty full mailbag each week from Australia. Good to know we've still got so many friends down under. And we'll try, I think, from time to time to devote our letters section to your requests. But here's one to be going on with. Ross Jones of New South Wales. We've got Brian Oldland and Stuart Morrison of North Balwyn in Victoria, and Winston Smith of 74 Elizabeth Street, Paddington in Sydney, New South Wales, all raising the same point, in fact. They're saying, what is Max Tangles-Walker, the Australian Test cricketer, doing grinning at us each week in your opening titles? Well, in fact, we saw Max with Gary Gilmore and Alan Turner, if memory serves me right, at an Arsenal match at the start of this season. And we invited Max in as our studio guest. And it was then that we learned the secret of so many of his great bowling performances. It's all down to the big match, it seems, because this is what Max Walker had to say.
Oh, yeah, 30 or 40 overs on the MCG. I'll be just coming around, get a second win by 10 or 12 o'clock on Saturday night. Sit back and watch the big match. Build myself up psychologically for the next day's play.
So West Indies be warned for this coming series in Australia, when Max Walker has had his dose of the big match the night before. We mentioned on the ball last week how Terry Payne of Southampton and Hereford had set a record for most league appearances, beating Jimmy Dickinson's. But Mrs. P. Thundercliffe of 91 Warren Avenue, Milton, Portsmouth, writes to remind me that Jimmy Dickinson still holds the record for appearances for one club, Portsmouth, of course. And here's Jimmy in action in a cup replay against Bolton in 1954 when Fratton Park was full. Happy days. And there is Jimmy Dickinson on the right in the dark shirt, number 6, with Willie Moyer, the captain of Bolton Wanderers. And what about that for a crowd 1954 style?
That should have got them a goal or two last time. Left winger Ray Parry puts the ball into the middle, but even Mansell's header doesn't stop the Bolton drive. In the 4th minute, goalie Platt parries one, but Moyer bangs it home. A surprise goal that shook Pompey to the core. Pompey seem out of luck until winger Harris throws in. Phillips to Dickinson. Watch this move carefully. Back to Phillips, who neatly lobs it over as Gordon races into head, and that's the equaliser. Portsmouth and Bolton 1-1. Ray Parry has it. Parry's centre brings Lofthouse into the picture, and his left-footed shot sends Platt down to save. Bolton keep up the pressure. A header by Billy Moyer, and there's another one. Bolton 2, Portsmouth 1.
And more letters for you next week. Before we go on, just a quick word about a testimonial match at Barnet on Thursday night, 7:30, for Jack McClellan, the former Arsenal and Fulham goalkeeper who's been very ill, and amongst those down to play, Jimmy Greaves. Now our third match as we follow the fortunes of the exciting Queen's Park Rangers side that started yesterday at the top of the First Division. They were away to Coventry City. The pictures come from ATV. The commentator's Hugh Johns. Queen's Park Rangers are in the red and white halves.
Francis. Lloyd for Coop. Mortimer's going through the middle. That's a beautifully flighted ball for him. And the shot is on for Holmes. Drove it well. Really fired that one. Well, that was a fine bit of attractive attacking football from Coventry. And they haven't done with that move yet. Brogan knocks it in again. Green. And the cross! Oh, that Rangers goal is very absolutely charmed like at the moment. Cross very nearly getting that one. Mortimer to his right. Green goes on running. Fox came well. Masson. Thomas is all right. He's gone through for a goal here. Now, in fact, it's going to be Don Gibbons. Will walk one in. 1-0. A most remarkable whack back by Queen's Park Rangers. 4 minutes into the second half. Don Gibbons, this what a goal-scoring week Don Gibbons has had. That's goal number 5 for him this week. The first one here today. That ball knocked out Thomas, ghosting through Coventry, who were looking for the offside. Linesman kept his flag down. Thomas went on alone. Might have tried one himself. Looks, sees Gibbons, feeds him a perfect scoring chance. Well, that's a slap in the eye for Coventry, and again, an indication that at home they really can't do anything. Mortimer. Cross. Coop. Brogan. Jimmy Holmes. Brogan to try it. Didn't get any beef on it. Hutchison. Jimmy Holmes. Oh, and that very nearly clipped in. The ball took a slight deflection after Holmes struck it, and Parks did very, very well indeed to guide it round the post. All Coventry get out of a corner, their third corner of the game. Looking for Lloyd's jump. And Hutchison, and it's knocked away. Tommy Hutchison, ball bouncing down to him, and Rangers defenders angry amongst themselves for making a right boo-boo of that situation. Cross getting a touch on for Green, who now attacks Webb. Mortimer. Cross!
beautifully. A goal of sheer perfection. 1-1, 14 minutes into the second half. As good a goal as Dave Cross will score at any time in his life. Entitled to look happy about that one. The attack, which he initiated with his header down the right side. Finally the ball struck back to him. He turned, struck it in one beautiful movement, and Parks had no chance. Gillard back for McClintock. Coote has done it wrong. And that was very nearly a goal for Dave Webb. Bowles, far post. Gibbons. Bit of a let-off then for Coventry. Thomas with a lot of space in front of him to attack. Gibbons tempting Powell for Francis now. The 1-2 work for Francis. Oh, one feels that Francis might have done better with that free gift that finally came to him.
Well, that's it. Don't forget On the Ball next Saturday lunchtime, and the big match, of course, next Sunday afternoon at 2. And as Pat Jennings, our guest today, signs the big match autograph book, they say goalkeepers are crazy. They're brilliant as well. Let's reflect again on the view of the Wolves players yesterday that Pat is the greatest goalkeeper in the world. Who can argue with that after yesterday's breathtaking performance for Tottenham Hotspur?
So often look to Bailey for any sort of inspiration. Here's Willie Carr. A little touch inside again. Oh, and a great save again by Jennings from Bailey. Now Bailey. Hit well and save well. Daly coming in, Farley coming in and saved brilliantly. John Richards with the shot and the deflection, and Pat Jennings is in trouble. No, he's not. There's Hibbett with the shot, and there's Jennings again. Hit towards Bailey on the volley. Oh, and what a save again. Absolutely amazing.
And welcome again to the big match. And today, 3 matches that vitally affect the championship or promotion. One from the first division, one from the second, and a good and fiercely competitive match from the fourth, which is our main match today, Brentford against Grimsby.
Instead towards Bobby Ross, and this time he's crossed it. Oh, and so did O'Mara.
Also, Leeds against Arsenal.
A shot, a touch, a goal. No, it's
And Preston against Queen's Park Rangers.
Oh, against the crossbar with Kelly struggling, and he's still out of his
So
goal.
matches that really matter here today, and as well as the action, we shall again reflect the things that you've been writing to us about. But let's make a start with our first match. And in the sunshine of West London, with a crowd of 14,600 settled into Griffin Park, more than one First Division club and 7 from the second could draw yesterday, Brentford against Grimsby, a game with a lot hanging on it at the top of the 4th Division. And first, the Brentford team. At the moment, they lie very nicely 5th in the table, but now going through a successful flurry after the return from suspension of their big and successful striker, John O'Mara. So that's the Brentford side. As for Grimsby, they lie 2nd in the table at this moment, a side coming to the boil at the right time, and a lot of that due to the recent purchase of number 4 Lou Chatterley, the former Aston Villa man from Northampton. And the men who've scored the goals for these two sides, John O'Mara, in spite of that recent suspension, has 24 for Brentford. Grimsby's Matt Tees, their top man, with 20. Grimsby skipper Dave Worthington, from a famous footballing family that includes the brothers Frank at Huddersfield and Bob at Notts County. Referee today, Ken Burns of Stourbridge. And in the crowd, one of Brentford's First Division stars from pre-war days, wing half Ernie Muttit, still regularly watching his old club from a position behind the goal.
So this crucial 4th Division match gets underway with Grimsby in their change strip of all blue defending the goal to our left. Their black and white stripes conflicting too closely with the red and white stripes of Brentford. Hawley back over his own head for Brentford. Gray with the beard and Nelms with the fair hair to get it away. Gray once more. Hickton. Brace right across there and nodded away, but not too far, and still Grimsby in possession now. Worthington, their captain. Matt Tees was going for it, but the long-established Peter Gelson here of Brentford, nearly 400 appearances, getting it away. And now Graham again for Brentford, delaying it and losing it. Hickman once more. Straight to Gelson. And now Ross. The ball running away from him all the time, but his challenge was sure. Hawley, again a long one forward, and again one Grimsby player was playing everybody onside, but the ball bounding away again to Wainman. Gelson and Graham. Wigington away. Hickman. Oh, and that could have been a mistake, and now Houston is through. Can he make it count? He can't. A very good piece of goalkeeping, though, by Wainman. And certainly the Grimsby defence at the moment seems all over the place. And this fellow Houston, who's coming through quickly from the middle of the field, is causing them 1 or 2 problems. But a very good piece of goalkeeping by Harry Wainman in the Grimsby goal, stopping Brentford going ahead. And a corner to Brentford. Peter Gelson going right up, and you notice Matt Tees so good in the air, going back with him for Grimsby. Jackie Graham with the corner. Towards the near post, and Worthington not getting it away! And a fine save again there by Wainman. Scales trying to put Grimsby under more pressure, but now they're coming away with Gordon. But a very promising couple of minutes there for Brentford. And 2 really marvellous pieces of goalkeeping by Harry Wainman, a Hull boy, keeping the score sheet blank. Wigington, Boylan, good strong challenge though by Nelms, and an equally strong one, and perhaps too strong, by Chatterley. Lou Chatterley with his 3rd club this season, started with Villa, went to Northampton, and now recently with Grimsby. Gelson now to take the free kick for Brentford. Houston's made his run. Worthington not really getting the way very well, and Wigington helping him. And so it's Brentford's throw. Scales with the throw. Bouncing just a little too high for Doherty, but he's a proper little terrier there, and he's got the corner for Brentford. The third spell he's had at Brentford. He's also played for Sheffield United and for Reading, John Doherty. And so it'll be Graham to take another corner for Brentford. And a good fist away again by Wainman. Tees right deep, inside to Boylan. Good turn by Boylan as well. Into Brace, and now to Chatterley. Grimsby now opening it up, and he's onside! Hickman is all right! And he's over! Well, he certainly looked offside, but the linesman was directly in line. He kept his flag down as Mike Hickman got well clear of that Brentford defence and really should have made that one count. Houston and Worthington. Houston again, a nice little touch off there to Scales. Doherty, a nice back header too, and Chatterley on the end of it for Grimsby. Graham. And another Brentford throw. Scales with it. Down the line to Houston. And another Brentford throw. This time Doherty to take it. Doherty crossing it again, O'Mara going in, and Wainman once more forced to tip that ball over. Did well, I would think, to keep his eye on the ball there with that huge frame of O'Mara rushing in on him. And so, yet another corner for Brentford. And again, Jackie Graham to take it. Ross turning it back again. O'Mara poised beneath it, and a fist again at Wayman. And behind by Campbell for another Brentford corner. Again, it'll be Graham to take it on the far side. Looks as though it'll be an in-swinger under that Grimsby crossbar. With red and white striped shirts launching themselves at it. There they go again. And it was kicked off the line! In goes Scales, but he's beaten by Hickman. And so now Worthington to take the throw for a very relieved Grimsby. 2 or 3 fine saves by Wainman, and then a kick off the line by fullback Campbell. Hickman. And that surely should be Nelms back to Phillips. It's not often that in the last few years that Brentford have had a crowd quite as good as this one for a league game. Now O'Mara. Oh, and he must have handled that, yes. Not happy with the decision and points to his chest, but the referee was directly in line, and he shows dissent O'Mara, and he's going to get his name taken. And it's only 3 games since he came back from suspension. 3 cautions for dissent then, and it cost him 8 weeks. And I wouldn't have thought he's playing a very clever game in taking it that way. Annoyed with himself, annoyed with the referee, but it very often pays not to show it. And so O'Mara is booked. The crowd don't like it. And it'll be Stuart Gray to take the free kick for Grimsby. Deep again towards Tees, and Gelson had gone with him. And Hickman with a chance and a good save. Good save by Phillips. The ball bounding towards him from Hickman. Body beautifully behind it. O'Mara. Ross. Doherty. Graham. And now Ross on the far side. Good Brentford move. And Houston and O'Mara in the middle if he can cross it. Well, he's got a corner. Just a little subdued, John O'Mara, since his name take. Graham with another corner. Again swinging in. And not it again, just wide. O'Mara, the man who made contact. Grimsby claiming feverishly that there was a bit of pushing going on in there. And now it's Tees for Grimsby. Boylan. And Gelson beautifully in command for Brentford. What a good piece of cultured defensive play by the Brentford number 4 there. Houston, Grimsby claiming an offside, but the number 2, Worthington, was playing everybody onside. Doherty now for Brentford. Needs to let one fly. No, he's going to get caught up in it. And Worthington finally to belt it away. Tees to lay it off for Boylan. And there goes the whistle for half-time as Brace goes roaring through and Phillips comes roaring out. A goalless first half with Brentford after such a good first 15 minutes where they were thwarted completely by the Grimsby goalkeeper Harry Wainman. But Grimsby too getting 1 or 2 chances as well. Still to come on the programme today. Highlights of that tremendous match at the top of the first division between Leeds and Arsenal, and a very important one at the top of the second between Preston and Queen's Park Rangers. The half-time score here at Griffin Park is Brentford 0, Grimsby 0. So Brentford get us away at the start of the second half, 0-0. The first of 3 successive home games for Brentford, and they really want to make them count to go from 5th to somewhere a little bit higher in the 4th division. Remember, the top 4 go up to the 3rd division. Grimsby, of course, who are 2nd. Doherty. And Hawley putting it across there towards O'Mara, and Graham, yes, did he use his hands? The referee appeared to blow his whistle, then changed his mind, and it was Chatterley who got it away for Grimsby. Nelms. And Doherty pushed in the back by Campbell. A goalless first half, in fact, very uncharacteristic of both these sides. Brentford with a good goal-scoring record, and in fact then Grimsby with 66 goals, scoring more than anybody else in the 4th division. Hawley now with the free kick. Chatterley losing it to Allen. Doherty, very neat piece of play there by Doherty. A low cross, and Houston tried to stoop and deflect it. Boylan. And Brentford's throw. Alan Hawley, the number 2. In fact, leaving it for his skipper, Bobby Ross. Hawley, in fact, going on with a chance to cross this one, and not a bad cross as well, and another fist away by Wainman, behind this time for the corner. There hasn't been very much that Harry Wainman has missed this afternoon, and now he's got to face something else as Graham again takes the corner. Ross trying to nod it, but the angle was wrong. And so it's going to be a Grimsby goal kick. The long and the short of it there in the middle of the field, certainly for a moment for Grimsby. Boylan and the tall Chatterley. Grimsby's throw. Gordon inside for Chatterley. A nice dummy there by Chatterley that gave him a yard or 2, and a sweeping pass there to Hickman. Back for Worthington. And now Chatterley again. Good ball there by Chatterley to Worthington again. Not such a good cross though, and Ross getting in the way. Chatterley, who could have quite an influence on this game, finding Worthington. Back to Chatterley again. The little chip forward, and he's all right. Braces onside. A low cross this time towards Tees. And Brentford players going down in the dust, and the ball going behind. Off Tees for the goal kick. Wigington beating O'Mara in the air. Hickman. Again towards Matt Tees, but that time's Nelms was at the end of it for Brentford. Chatterley. Campbell. Taken off him by Houston. Good play by Stuart Houston for Brentford. The ball bobbling about viciously in front of him. Ross taking it up and taking it too far. Poor reward for a good run away from that defensive position by Houston. And now Boylan. Letting one go! Seemed to go for a moment the wrong way from that shot from Dave Boylan. And then his reflexes were very quick indeed, Phillips. O'Mara trying to put Worthington under pressure. Houston right in there too. Worthington again over his own head, and a throw to Brentford. With a quarter of an hour of the second half gone and still no score. Doherty. Oh, he snaked his way around there nicely. The cross there towards Ross. And that wasn't in fact a particularly good save. It got it away. went through Wainman's hands, and it's his lucky day because it went over the crossbar as well. There's an old superstition in Grimsby that trawlermen are superstitious and they don't like green, and the Grimsby goalkeepers are not supposed to wear green, but he's wearing green today and the luck was going with him. It's the corner then to Brentford. And it's going to be Graham once more to put this Grimsby defence under pressure. Curling another corner. In under that crossbar once more, and again the goalkeeper was there before anybody else. But chance for Graham to turn it back first time. Straight to Campbell. Nelms. And O'Mara is offside. He's offside. Good piece of play again by Wayman. He wasn't to know. Did all that was asked of him by the Grimsby defence. But in fact the whistle had gone for offside against O'Mara. Not arguing. The Brentford back four in line there, and it's Nelms who makes the contact. Chatterley to Boylan. And Ross challenging all the way. This is a good game. O'Mara. But he wanted Ross to go on, and he's giving his skipper a bit of his tongue as well, wanting Ross to come on for that layoff. Boylan, Chatterley. Swept wide there now, across the field for Tees. Worthington. Tees, they could do with him up in that Brentford penalty area. Worthington. Chatterley hitting one first time and hitting it well wide, but it was worth a go. Really has had a big influence on this Grimsby side in this game, in the middle of the field and coming forward. A lot of experience to call on. Lou Chatterley. O'Mara hanging there and winning it in the air. Graham nodding it on. Doherty, such a fighter, but losing that battle, and Hickman coming away for Brentford, for Grimsby. But there was a foul on Doherty as he fought. And it's going to be Brentford's free kick. It's going to be Gelson to take it. Doherty. Allen going right in there too, and Allen still right in there. And a goal! Scored by Doherty! The goal Brentford so badly wanted. And Doherty, the little fighter who scored it. Bobbling about there on the edge of the area, it ran loose to him, and he made no mistake into the far corner. So this big Griffin Park crowd delighted with that turn of events. And not even Harry Wayman in that Grimsby goal, who's had such a fine game, could get a hand to that one. Nelms to nod it away for Brentford. O'Mara to nod it on for Doherty. Trying to screw it in again for O'Mara, and O'Mara scored again. 2 in a minute. 2 in a minute for Brentford. And that's what West London wanted. Again, The marvellous little architect was Doherty with a fine jinking run, but turned it inside, and O'Mara caught it left-footed. 2-0. A little boy briefly on the field, now off the field, and away we go. And now really it is all against Grimsby. Ross, and the ball out of play. Well, a very relieved Brentford bench, and on the second from the right, Frank Blunston, their young manager, pointing away. Chatterley. And a nice little flick on, and a goal there. No, offside given against Brace. Offside given against Brace. Well, it was a goal that Grimsby would badly have wanted, coming so soon after those two big setbacks. But the linesman was directly in line, and they're bringing on their substitute now, Lewis. And it's number 11, Alan Gordon, who's going off. Doherty laying it off for Graham. And on for Doherty, scampering down that touchline again. Brentford's throw. Houston. Worthington, and another Brentford throw. Doherty laid off for Jackie Graham. A good cross there again towards O'Mara. And now Ross, can he turn it back again? Houston is right in there, just a shade too high for him. And that should so easily have been number 3. Brace. And Nelms doing a good defender's job again for Brentford. Wigginton. The substitute Lewis to Campbell. Hickman, good jump by him towards Tees. Boylan, a busy player, and he's won a corner. Off Hawley for Grimsby. So Grimsby now plunging a lot of men forward. Brian Turner's gone on, the substitute for Brentford. And John Doherty is going off, the man who scored the goal. One of the heroes, and getting a hero's send-off as well. But here's the corner with Boylan. And Tees! Yes, it's Tees who got the touch. And the linesman is flagging. And the referee is going across to consult him. Now, will it count or won't it count? It's Tees who put it in. The consultation that means an awful lot. Number 9 is Tees, and it's disallowed. And it's disallowed. And Grimsby don't know which way to turn, but the linesman's word has been taken by the referee, and it's still 2-0 to Brentford. Tees far from happy with it. The second goal that Grimsby have had disallowed. So he's not very pleased with the linesman, that's for sure. And now Turner. A lot of space ahead of him. And Brentford now 4-2 against Grimsby. Played into the path there of O'Mara. Needing to cross it. That long leg sticks out. And Jackie Graham to hit one, and it's over. Tees, Gelson, belted away. Houston, chased by Wigginton with Worthington inside him, but trying a cross instead towards Bobby Ross, and this time he's crossed it. Oh, and so did O'Mara. The first real technical error, I suppose, that Wayman has made all afternoon. And Brentford, as the final whistle goes, get 2 very valuable points indeed as they push towards the top of the 4th division. John O'Mara, scorer of that second goal, made for him by John Doherty, who went off. Doherty himself scoring the first goal. And the final scoreline here in this important promotion match at the top of the 4th division that reads Brentford 2, Grimsby 0. So Brentford very happily have taken 7 points from the last 8 since John O'Mara came back from a 5-week suspension, and now they've slipped into 4th place ahead of Grimsby on goal average. Still to come for you on the programme today, highlights of Preston North End against Queen's Park Rangers, and the team they're all talking about, Leeds United, in their match at Ellen Road yesterday with Arsenal, and some action there that really is not to be missed. But now let's go back to Brentford and over to Jimmy Hill.
Well, last time we went down to Griffin Park, I think the fans and players were a bit disappointed they didn't provide too good a match, but this time it was that much better. Although I must say, experiencing the sort of problems that all promotion teams experience this time of the year, hard grounds when it isn't easy to play football, especially in front of your own fans. It's much easier for an away side to destroy and kick the ball away than it is for a home side to get it down and get a shot in at goal. And because of that, it was a long while before Brentford could get ahead. They pressed round the Grimsby goal. The goalkeeper made a couple of miraculous saves, but in the end they did, and it was John Doherty, that little skillful player, who brought about this goal. Free kick there from Peter Gelson. He had a fine, steady game yesterday, and there's Doherty laying the ball back first time, and he gets his reward for that in the end. But this goal is typical of the way in which you have to muddle goals on grounds like this. It's fight and determination that really wins the ball, and from that moment on, it's Doherty's skill. That goal was beautifully taken. You don't see it as well from this side as you could from the other, but he picked his spot so well there and tucked it in a foot of space at right at the bottom of the post. And this is the second goal. Having got one, they found it very easy to get another. Just 28 seconds afterwards, O'Mara heads it on, and it's Doherty again, elated from the first goal, who streaks up the wing, and see the way his football brain tells him just when to lay it to O'Mara. He's onside there. There's a bit of pushing and shoving, streaking forward, hammers it with his left foot there. The goalkeeper gets his hand to it, but can't save it. That was 2 goals. In fact, they spent more time congratulating each other before the first goal than they did in carving out the second. It took about 5 or 6 seconds. Grimsby felt they were a little unlucky. Laurie McMenemy, the manager, a fine young manager, was composed afterwards, but felt that maybe Grimsby should have been allowed a couple of goals. The first one was an offside decision where 2 players, to me, looked, well, more than suspiciously offside, but he felt he'd like to have a look at it again. So let's see now whether Laurie McMenemy was right. There's the ball going up. We pause for a moment there as it's about to be headed on. You can see the player to the right there moving into the box, but it's not he who is the guilty one. I think it's the one to the left there, Matt Tees, who now is clearly in an offside position. That was the first one, no question about it, the linesman right for that. Now let's move on to number 2, which was rather a different cup of tea. There was an infringement, or there was a suggestion that there was an infringement from the corner coming up, taken by little Dave Boylan here. Quite a character as a player, that run. There may have been a suggestion of pushing from that first header, but there certainly wasn't when Matt Tees headed that beautifully into the corner of the net. And you can see, I think, why he was so annoyed, because he felt he personally hadn't done anything wrong, but the linesman had flagged very quickly and very clearly to say that he saw an infringement there. I must say, it isn't all that easy to see, but on the other hand, I'll leave you to make up your own minds. Well, what about Brentford for the future? I think the signs are good. They've got a lot of spirit. They fought hard yesterday. Once they got in front, they showed more skill. The crowds are ready to support them. 14,000 crowd yesterday was an excellent crowd, and if they go in the 3rd division, I think they'll have what it takes. My only worry is that they don't meet my other old club, Fulham, in that division.
Well, more action now, and for this we have an important match in the 2nd division, important at least for Queen's Park Rangers, who've got to grab everything they possibly can in the remaining weeks of the season to stay in the promotion hunt. Yesterday it was a difficult away match for them at Preston, where the pictures come from Granada Television and the commentator is Gerald Sinstadt, and Preston are in the white shirts.
Put out a play by Ian Evans. Lyle with the throw-in to Heppolet, and he was barged there before he received the ball. It wasn't Heppolet, it was Tarbuck. Well, Young might well fancy trying to bend one there. He's got enough to aim at, I'd have thought. And he does. And it's in! Tarbuck. was a bad wall by Queen's Park Rangers. The gap there is very clear, and as Young hits it, Parks goes down well, but Tarbuck was up snooping and made it play. Busby turning it forward. Bird's header. Lyle gave it away to Ferguson. O'Rourke, he can shoot, and a good save by Kelly. John O'Rourke, who did a great job for Ipswich a few seasons back, came into their side in the last 2 or 3 months of the season. He got some crucial goals that won them promotion to the First Division. A real poacher when he sees the goal. Kelly did well to thwart him then. Ferguson's corner. And now Francis. Lob for Leach, got away by Kelly. And now Evans, he's got it. Ian Evans' first goal in league football, but it's been disallowed. Francis. And here are 2 men against 2. O'Rourke just got a toe to it. It's the equaliser. 1 minute into injury time. It all comes from that long ball through the middle. 2 against 2 here. McCulloch's header and the toe of O'Rourke. 1-1.
And what a valuable late goal there for QPR, who are still 7 points behind the leaders, Norwich and Millwall, but they've got a game in hand. And it might be significant too that of their last 9 games, Queen's Park Rangers have 6 of them at home, so it could be quite an interesting finish yet at the top of the second division. The one controversial issue yesterday at Deepdale was that disallowed Queen's Park Rangers goal. Why was it disallowed?
I've got to confess that I was on Queen's Park Rangers' side for the first 5 times I looked at the slow motion, and the 6th time I saw the thing that gave us the clue to the linesman decision, which in fact I think was absolutely correct. The clue was Mick Leach, the player who fell with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was beyond him, and there were not 2 players between him and the goal line at the moment the ball was hit. There's the cross. Now you can see Leach is falling. The goalkeeper's almost falling on top of him, in fact. And he's the player I want you to look at as young Evans comes in here, cracks it well with his left foot. Look quickly to the left of the picture and you can see Leach getting up. But he was in an offside position without any doubt at the moment that ball was kicked, because the goalkeeper, as you can see, is just outside the 6-yard box there. So the linesman, absolutely right.
So a difficult decision there, but the right one made up at Preston. Now your letters, and the first one today comes in fact from some Reading fans, from Jean Middleton, Sheena Sharp, Linda Norris of 31 Matlock Road, Caversham in Berkshire, Gregory MacDonald-Smith of Christ's Hospital, Horsham in Sussex, and Andrew Morris of 91 Woodcock Way, also Caversham in Berkshire. All asking you to see Barry Wagstaff's goal for Reading against Arsenal in that 4th round FA Cup tie a few weeks back. And one of them making the point that we showed Stuart Morgan's own goal from that match last week. Why don't we show Barry Wagstaff's this? Here it is.
And so it'll be Habin now with a corner for Reading. Badly wanting a goal now to restore themselves. Wooler. And that'll fall now for Wagstaff. And he's scored! Wagstaff has done it! 1-1. Well, I hope that restores the balance a little bit for all our Reading fans. Arsenal, of course, won the match 2-1. One of our correspondents suggested that Barry Wagstaff goal might qualify for a golden goal. Well, I don't know about that, but this is to remind you at any rate that we should be launching our golden goals competition next Sunday with our preliminary list of 12, from which we shall draw our final 6. Now, Roy Marshall from 180 Thin Road, Morningside, Brisbane in Australia writes to ask what the alphabet is that he sees week by week on the football grounds. Here's one, and he says it's been puzzling a number of our Australian viewers. In fact, this alphabet is used to show the crowd the half-time scores in other matches being played that day, and relates to a key which is published in the programme. Here's an old Tottenham programme, published in the programme that the crowd can get. Team A, for example, you can see there, Chelsea v Liverpool, corresponds that A to the alphabet that you actually see on the ground. I'm sure that that's nothing new to all the regular football fans, but I hope it clears up 1 or 2 things at least for our friends in Australia. Now we come to some more action, and I suppose you could argue the most significant match of the whole weekend. Leeds United, already said by some to be on the verge of becoming the greatest club side of all time in England, hotly disputed by a number of their critics, against Arsenal, the reigning champions. And for an extra bonus, of course, this could be a possible rehearsal for the FA Cup final itself. There were 45,000 people at Ellen Road, including Yorkshire television cameras and commentator Keith Macklin. But the afternoon began with a nice warm gesture by Leeds United in honour of Arsenal's winning the double last season.
Show for the benefit of Frank McClintock on the Arsenal side. Billy Bremner presenting Frank McClintock with a tankard inscribed to Frank from all the Leeds United players, commemorating your wonderful achievement last season, and the Ellen Road crowd joining in a very generous round of applause for the Arsenal players. Well, I'm sure Frank McClintock on the Arsenal side will appreciate that, and they're giving a wave to the crowd. That's a nice touch of showmanship from Arsenal too. That's Story hooking it in the penalty area. Kennedy getting his head to it. Simpson trying to follow up, coming towards Jones, flips it nicely out to Lorimer. Jones is staring down the middle. McClintock's there. Well, McClintock's missed it. A chance for Jones. He's missed it. It was a long way out, but McClintock's mistake, and in the opening minute a chance for Mick Jones. He was outside the penalty area and Wilson was coming out to narrow the angle, but McClintock almost opened the gate there. Hunter to Madeley. Cooper. That's coming to McClintock, who's unattended. George. Hunter, of course, looking after George, getting it to Giles. Jones, Bremner. Good ball from Bremner to Jones. Free kick on the edge of the penalty area. The Arsenal players, I think, suggesting that Jones may have fallen a little too spectacularly. But it's a free kick to Leeds, quickly taken by Giles, too quickly. Story got a boot to it. Hunter, Cooper. Arsenal defence retreating. Chip forward to Clark. Is he onside? I think he is. And he couldn't get hold of it. Even then, Wilson had to stretch. But that was another chance for Leeds. Clark was not offside. Up goes Madeley. Finds Jones. Clark and Giles. Bremner and Lorimer on the right. Bremner leaving it for Lorimer. Curling over towards Clark. Rice going across to challenge Clark, and it's Rice who puts it in touch. Giles wanting someone to come for it, and it's Madeley. Hunter trying to find Clark, who does get it. Almost too casual, but Madeley gets it back to Hunter. Leeds trying to open up this defence. It's Story who goes in hard. Clark. Well, again, Clark, a model of the casual. Hunter, a good floating cross off the head of Roberts. Then Nelson, then Roberts again. And McClintock not too happy about what's going on in the penalty area. This is Lorimer. Lorimer going round Nelson. There's a chip. A touch wanted. It's Clark again. There's the goal. A beautifully placed cross by Lorimer. And Alan Clark makes it one. 11 minutes gone, and Peter Lorimer waited, looked up, put it right across the face of the goal. And it's the inevitable sniffer. Clark, who touches it in. And it's Armstrong for Arsenal. Story behind him. Rice. Roberts. Arsenal being forced square. That's a chance for Kennedy. Now Ball, a first time. Oh, what a good shot by Ball. What a superb first. By Ball, and Sprake was really stretching for that. Ball. Bremner going right across Ball, but Ball did get it away. Now Nelson. Story, but Reaney will get to that first. Kennedy's there, leaving it for Tarleton. Bremner. Jones and Clark. Ball. Italy pushed that out and had to go after his own pass himself. That's the position. Often Eddie Graycroft up in. Bremner. Lorimer open on the right. Clark. Again outside, Nelson again, the cross again, the header. Oh, what a miss! Clark scored the first goal. In all honesty, missed a sitter. Roberts is down, but play goes on. Giles to Lorimer, Roberts lying prone in the centre of the field. Referee Mr. Yates letting play go on. Here goes Lorimer again, raiding down that touchline. He's through into the penalty area. A shot, a touch, a goal. No, it's not it. It's scrambled away by Nelson. Clark got a touch to that, and out came the toe of Nelson to get in the way just as it was rolling into the untenanted goal. Madeley's head. McClintock. Simpson. Cooper reading that all the way. Lorimer's injured in an offside position. He's hurt his back, but that's aimed towards Jones. Jones in on it, and a goal! What a mix-up of the defence! What an appalling mix-up in the Arsenal defence! Jones nipped past Nelson and Roberts, with Wilson also standing there for the simplest of goals. And Jones is hurt. But in 34 minutes, what a simple goal. Wilson, Roberts and Nelson all standing, leaving it to each other, and Jones in between them for the goal. Giles. Bremner. Harassed by McClintock, beaten by him. It's Giles who goes into the tackle. Giles trying to find Jones. Ball is there. Kennedy. Ball, busy little B. Oh, a good ball for him, but a chance for Alan Ball. And superbly, no, what a bad luck, what awful luck. A superbly taken chance by Ball, and he deserves to score, he hit the post. Now Reaney going across. Straight down towards Lorimer. That back header taken by Jones. Jones controlling it well. Trying to get in for a shot. There's a shot! Wilson past the post. No, it's not been out of play. Rice puts it behind. It was behind. And again, the Arsenal defence in all sorts of trouble as Vic Jones teed up the shot, and Bob Wilson was really stretching. Giles. And Giles looks up before he receives the ball, deciding where the ball's going to go next. Lorimer. At the near post, Clark, a flick, he didn't get hold of it. Rice. Armstrong. Remner's up on that. 1 minute before half-time, and Rice brings down Remner. Giles, as Leeds keep the pressure on all the time on this Arsenal defence. Clark's on the outside, but Lorimer's hit one, and a goal! In off the post! 40 yards, Peter Lorimer. Bob Wilson taken by surprise, and he crept inside the post, and that's 3. 44 minutes, and Leeds giving Arsenal the runaround they gave to Southampton and Manchester United, and it doesn't often happen to Arsenal. Story. Nelson. Kennedy in the middle. George also there, and Armstrong. Nelson trying to get round Charlton. Puts over a good cross. Up goes Kennedy. Coming out to Ball. Ball mishits it, but Kennedy has a chance to hit it. It's Hunter. Another chance for Kennedy. This time he hits George. And again Kennedy. And Armstrong. It's Marinello, the substitute. Marinello for Kennedy, yet another chance to shoot. Again a deflection. Ball has a chance. George must score. Off the line. George again. He's missed it. Well, well, well. The number of chances that Arsenal had in that goal mouth. Kennedy, Ball and George. And even when Sprake was on the ground, George couldn't put it in. And that's the way it's going for Arsenal this afternoon. Madeley is inside Reaney. Clark. Now Clark in on the penalty area. And a shot. And Wilson comes out to nail the angle and takes it, but not at the first attempt. Clark, the man who worked the opening. Cooper in, hard in the tackle, on ball, and hustled off it by Rice. McClintock having words with Mr. Yates and alleging that Cooper was the offender. Rice is going to be spoken to. Ball also getting it on the act, and the book comes out, and it's a caution for Ball, I think. Come here, says Mr. Yates. Now, is it Ball's name going in the book? Yes, it is. The Arsenal players protesting about that. McClintock leading the protest. And Rice also. So 2 cautions for the same incident involving Terry Cooper. And McClintock might well go in as well. Armstrong for Story. George getting all tangled up. But Hunter penalised. Up again. A free kick to Arsenal. Nelson and Lorimer in contention. Lorimer has the ball at his feet at the moment. And still has it. Fought for that ball. Giles. Clark. The slide rule pass normally from Giles, but Leeds still have it, and it's Lorimer. Reaney. Remner being followed by Simpson, finds Reaney, takes the return ball. Simpson behind him, still Remner going across for Clark to hit, and the deflection, and he nearly crept in. That shot was hit against Rice, and it almost got through Wilson.
So Leeds the winners there by 3-0. Nobody could argue with that, and indeed they played some brilliant stuff there in the first half. They're now 4 points behind the leaders of the First Division, Manchester City, but Leeds have 2 games in hand. They have a very interesting couple of games coming up as well. Away to West Ham United on Good Friday morning, and then away to Derby County, the second place club, next Saturday. It might well sort out 1 or 2 things. Well, that's it today. Hope you've enjoyed the programme. Remember to join us again for On the Ball in World of Sport next Saturday lunchtime, when we should be having a good look at the Easter programme and all its ramifications, and we shall have another action-packed big match for you next Sunday afternoon. Well, we had an enjoyable time, the big match team, down at Griffin Park yesterday, and we normally leave you with a goal. This time we thought we'd reverse the procedure a little bit and leave you with a little tribute to 2 very fine 4th Division goalkeepers.
that we saw in that game between Brentford and Grimsby yesterday. Harry Wainman, the Grimsby goalkeeper, and Gordon Phillips of Brentford, some of their best work.
Oh, and that could have been a mistake, and now Houston is through. Can he make it count? He can't. Towards the near post, and Worthington not getting it away, and a fine save again there by Wainman. And now Boylan. Letting one go. Phillips above them all.